Meet John. John owns a vacation home in the United States. He wants to sell his home, but he's not a U.S. citizen or a U.S. tax resident. As a foreigner, our seller John has to deal with FIRPTA. Now meet Mike. He wants to buy John's house. Since John is a foreigner, our buyer, Mike, also has to deal with FIRPTA. So what is FIRPTA? FIRPTA is a deposit to cover tax. The FIRPTA deposit is withheld at the property sales closing and sent to the IRS to cover any unsettled tax obligations of our seller, John. Think of FIRPTA as an advanced tax payment. If John sells his property for a profit, he will be earning U.S. source income. When he earns U.S. source income, John has to pay tax on that income. The FIRPTA deposit will stay at the IRS until John files a U.S. tax return to report his home sale. If John owes less tax than the FIRPTA deposit, John will get a refund for the difference. Collecting the FIRPTA deposit at closing is the only way the IRS can ensure John files his U.S. tax return. But how does the IRS go about collecting that payment? Remember Mike? When Mike buys John's house, he will need to hold back 15% of the selling price and make the FIRPTA deposit to the IRS on John's behalf. If our buyer, Mike, doesn't collect and pay the FIRPTA deposit to the IRS at closing, Mike may have to pay the IRS 15% himself. Seller John called the FIRPTA experts at Tax Solutions. Tax Solutions explained the FIRPTA process and John's options to reduce, eliminate, or proceed with the FIRPTA deposit and John's refund options. John didn't have a U.S. tax ID, so Tax Solutions helped him apply for an individual tax identification number known as an I-10. Several months later, John got his 15% FIRPTA deposit refunded to him. So, whatever happened to Mike? Well, Mike went on to live a happy life in his brand new home. He never heard from the IRS again. This story has a happy ending. But sadly, not all FIRPTA stories end well. If FIRPTA compliance is not handled correctly, seller John may never recover his refund, and worse, may still owe tax on the sale. Mike, our buyer, may also get tagged with huge penalties that are not his fault. The IRS sometimes misfiles documents and doesn't credit payments properly, sends penalties to the buyer and then keeps the seller's deposit. Having a FIRPTA expert on your team before closing to sort out any problems after closing is what we are experts at. We don't stop working until the seller has their refund. Whether you are closing soon, have already closed, are receiving IRS penalty notices, or your refund is way overdue, call our FIRPTA experts and we will get your situation sorted out no matter how complicated.